we met on recognizing our shared humanity. The title of this book, All of These People, comes from a poem by the Ulster writer Michael Longley, one of the most sensitive chroniclers of the pain caused by the Troubles. It is his tribute to those who have inspired him. I carry a little photocopy of this poem wherever I travel in the world. All of these people, alive or dead, are civilized. The civilized are those who can love, forgive, and hope. The world is full of them. My mother was one such person, my father too. Here is a memory. It is winter, I think, some time in my 7th or 8th year. There is a fire burning in the grate. Bright orange flames are leaping up the chimney. On the mantelpiece is a photograph of Roger Casement, gazing at us with dark, sad eyes. My father loved Casement, an Englishman who died for Ireland. In this memory, my father sits in one chair, my mother is opposite him. They are rehearsing a play. Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, by a man called Tom Stoppard. It will open at the Gate Theatre in Dublin in a few weeks' time. My father's voice is rich, deep, it rolls around the room, fills me with wonder. My mother's is softer, but so intense, the way she picks up when he stops. Never before have I seen such fidelity to a moment. I don't really understand this play. 2 men are sent to kill another man. It's about Hamlet, my mother explains. The 2 men are in the Shakespearean play. But who is Hamlet? It doesn't matter. I am enchanted. I feel as if I'm part of some secret cell. I don't want them to stop. I want this to last forever. Us being together in this calm. The words going on softly, endlessly. Years and years later, I try to find his voice, her voice, as they were on that night, when there was calm. If I will it hard enough, I can hear them. My parents, the sinew and spirit of me. My mother is pretty. She smells of imperial leather. Her hair is brown and long, and she asks me to comb it. 6 pence for 10 minutes, half a crown for 20. My father is darker. His skin tans quickly. Like a Spaniard, he says the Keanes are descended from Spanish sailors who were wrecked off Ireland during the Spanish Armada. Such pictures he can paint, of the great crossing of Biscay, the galleons smashed on the black rocks of County Clare, the soldiers weighed down by their armour, sucked down into the cold. Only the toughest survived, he says. His eyes are green like mine, like the heather, he says. I have a cottage by the sea on the southeast coast of Ireland. Every year I go there in August. I'm well aware that my addiction to this place is a form of shadow chasing. It was here, on the most restful of Irish coasts, that I enjoyed the happiest hours of childhood. What else are you doing, going back again and again, but foraging for the ghosts of lost summers? Last August I went to a party at the house of a friend overlooking Ardmore Bay. We had sunshine that day, and the horizon was clear for miles. In Ireland, when I meet older people, they will frequently ask, "Are you anything to John B. Keane?" or "Are you Eamon Keane's son?" Yes, a nephew. Yes, a son. My father and his brother were famous and well-loved figures in Ireland. Eamon the actor and John B. the playwright. If it's in Cork City, people will usually ask if I am Maura Hassett's boy. Yes, I reply, I am her eldest. They will say they remember her, perhaps at university, or acting in a play at one of the local theatres. At the party in Ardmore, I was introduced to an elderly man, an artist, who had known my parents when they first met, acting in the premiere of one of my uncle's plays, Sharon's Grave, about a tormented man hungry for land and love. "I have no legs to be travelling the country with. I must have my own place. I do be crying and cursing myself at night in bed because no woman will talk to me," he says. The character is physically and emotionally crippled, a metaphor for the Ireland of the 1950s. Stunted and isolated, Ireland sat on the western edge of Europe, blighted by poverty, enthralled to the memory of its founding martyrs, a country of marginal farms, depressed cities, and frustrated longings, with the great brooding presence of the Catholic Church lecturing and chiding its flock. My parents were children of this country, but they chafed against it remorselessly. The artist told me that he'd sketched them during rehearsals for the play. What were they like? I asked him. What had my parents been like? Well, you could tell from early on they were an item, he said. He praised them as actors, and talked about the excitement their romance had caused in Cork. For their wedding, the poet Brendan Kennelly gave them a present of a china plate decorated with images of Napoleon on his retreat from Moscow, and there were messages of congratulations from the likes of Brendan Behan. Once married, they took to the road with the theatre company, with Sharon's Grave playing to enthusiastic houses across the country. In a boarding house somewhere in Ireland, a few hours after the last curtain call, I was conceived. Several weeks after I met the artist who'd sketched my parents, a brown parcel arrived at my home in London. Inside were 2 small photographs of his drawings. They looked so beautiful, my parents. My father handsome, a poet's face, my mother with flowing brown hair and melancholy eyes. The artist had caught them at a moment in their lives when they believed anything was possible. There's a poem by Raymond Carver where he remembers his own wedding. This remembrance comes after years of desolation amid the collapse of his marriage. He writes, "And if anybody had come then with tidings of the future, they would have been scourged from the gate. Nobody would have believed." That was my parents in the year they met, 1960. I was the eldest of their 3 children, born less than 12 months after they were married. We would live together as a family for another 11 years. My parents were temporary exiles from Ireland when I was born. After Sharon's Grave, Eamon was offered the role of understudy to the male lead in the Royal Court production of J.M. Synge's The Playboy of the Western World. They lived in a flat in Camden Town, from where my mother could visit the antenatal clinic at University College Hospital. On the day of my birth, my father was out drinking, and my mother went to hospital alone. It was early January, and it had been snowing. A taxi driver saw her resting in the doorway of Marks and Spencer and offered her a free lift to the hospital. By now, she would have known a few of the harsher truths about the disease of alcoholism. For one thing, an alcoholic husband wasn't a man to depend on for regular income or to be home at regular times. Eamon appeared at the hospital later on, and as my mother remembers it, there were tears of happiness in his eyes when he lifted me from the cot and held me in his arms for the first time. My first memory of childhood is of clouds. They are big black clouds and they sit on the roofs of the houses in Finglas West. I see them because I have run out of the house. The garden gate is tied with string. I cannot go any further, so I stand with my face pressed against the bars and watch the clouds, wondering if they will fall from the sky, what noise they will make when they hit the ground. But the clouds just sit there. Fergal, Fergal. After a while my mother comes out and leads me back into the house. There is silence inside. My father is upstairs. At this age, I know nothing, but I can sense things. There is something about this silence that is not like other silences. It is the silence after an argument, as if anger has changed the pressure of the air. I stand in the room and feel the silence for a moment, and then I go deep into my head and start to dream, back to the clouds and the noise of rain, loud enough to fill the world with sound. This is how things have been from the moment I can remember. I go to bed and stay awake as late as I can, lying in my room, listening for the sound of his homecoming, footsteps shuffling, a key scratching at the lock, and a voice that sings sometimes, and other times shouts, and other times is muffled, a voice being urged to quietness by my mother. Drinking. What do you know about drinking when you are 6 years of age? More than you should, is the quick answer. Drinking is someone changing so that their eyes are staring out from some other world.